Very good evening to you, Jyoti ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's introduce Jyoti ma'am. Jyoti Dadlani is an award-winning psychologist, post enabler, and a relationship expert. She has trained more than 10,000 people. She is an author of an anti-anxiety detox book, I Am Perfect Too. She has been interviewed at Free Press Journal. She has bagged the prestigious Dadasaheb Phalke Cine and Social Award for her outstanding contribution to the growth and development of the Indian society. Jyoti ma'am is an external member of ICC for 16 companies. Her blogs have been published in Fox Interviewer, Indian Bites, and many other platforms. She has conducted more than 100 successful therapies. Jyoti ma'am does not only aim at transforming individuals' personal life and help them achieve their corporate goals, but her main motive is leading individuals towards a purposeful and meaningful life.
Thank you, Priya, for such a wonderful intro.
You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us today. Ma'am, today's topic is psychological safety at a hybrid workplace. So, what do we mean by psychological safety?
So, as a leader's job in today's corporate, it is very, very important that to create a culture where people can do their best. Uh, but when it comes to psychological safety, it defined as an environment where people believe that their condor is welcome. They believe that they can talk about anything related to work. They can share any kind of ideas. They can ask any kind of questions. Their
Mm-hmm.
concern, their mistakes, you name it. And when the psychological safety is lacking, then you are not able to retain in your talent. Of course, your risk of losing something which might be a very crucial. And psychological safety, in a simple words, if I have to put it, I
Mm-hmm.
would say where the learning can happen, where people are thriving, confronting, challenging, and open conversations can happen.
Mm-hmm. That's great. I think it's very important to have a psychological environment for the business and the employees to grow.
True.
So next, I think why is this psychological safety important in current time?
So, when we say about current time, people are actually moving now. Being 2 years, some people were blessed to stay at home, work from home for 2 years. And now what happening is when you're moving not only from your work to home, but also from your responsibilities. Those where people were handling catering to child needs. Even if you say 10 o'clock, till 10 o'clock we were working, but you are also taking
Mhm,
a break, attending that family needs. Maybe your parents are alone, or
mhm,
maybe you're you are you have a very small kid. So every single need has been catered there. But
mhm.
when we talk about now moving, it's actual transaction. And
Yeah,
it's not only very few people are actually there where in the city they get the job. A lot of people are moving out of city.
out of
And then there is also comes place as those separate anxiety. Previously, at least they were there, but they used to go at the office and come back. This 2 years now,
mhm.
habits has been changed.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really, really difficult to move out of your comfort zone. It as good as
Mhm.
putting that, leaving that pajama and putting that pant over.
Pants on. Yeah.
So people are facing a lot of challenges, and then secondly, a lot of jobs has been changed. People have jobs,
Yeah.
so there are like
Change.
how the colleagues will be, what kind of environment, what kind of culture I'm going into. Will the new
Mhm.
boss accept me or not? So is my boss equation is fine or not? Sometimes people are saying, okay, it's still okay if I'm seeing his online, but offline I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So someone said, oh, if I do a mistake I won't get fired, right? So that
Mhm.
level of
Yeah.
anxiety people are suffering.
And COVID has already messed up with the mental health of the employees. So it's very important to have this psychological safety, I feel.
Yes.
So what is like how does psychological safety affect the people?
Okay, so there are certain kind of circles or like category where you want people to be perform.
Mhm.
So they, as a if I'm not psychologically safe, I don't feel psychological safe at my work environment, unlikely I will not speak up. I will not give up those great ideas. You have seen a couple of times that training meetings where quite repetitive people are talking,
Mhm.
but what about, we will see that maybe few or three ideas are given, and then maybe people have brilliant, uh,
Mhm.
but they kept their ideas to themselves.
Yeah.
So being judged,
Yeah.
will I be accepted, or if the people will laugh at me, something that
Mm-hmm.
goes background, that is where people are stop reacting. They stop raising their voices because they think it might be not heard.
Yeah.
People don't share their ideas for improvement, and they don't share
Mm-hmm.
their wide ideas for new opportunities, new product, and company lost there.
Mm-hmm. And I think when people don't interact, they don't feel that job satisfaction because it's like you're just doing what you're told to do.
Yes, absolutely. So I give you a simple example. Okay, there was a famous story of three Breckman, where they actually see. So person went and asked, this brickman was working on a construction site, and he was putting the routine job was just to prick the bricks one by
Mm.
one. And the
Mm.
person asked and went and see the first uh, brickman. Okay, what are you doing? And he
Mm-hmm.
said, you know what, I'm just putting the bricks. Then the same question being asked to second brickman, he said, I'm earning for my family. And the third questions being asked, they're like, I'm building a school, I'm building an education institute. So he knows, in spite of his just routine job, but he's
Mm.
connected to his higher purpose
Mm-hmm.
somewhere. And that where people are lacking. A lot of
Mm.
time we do not realize why we say that mission and vision should be aligned with your company
Aligned, yeah.
or employees goal, KRA. But being it some routine job, I think they forgot it has to be aligned. So people are
Mm-hmm.
really missing out uh, the higher purpose, and there then the unsatisfaction come in a job. uh,
Mm.
Now, the apart from performance appraisal also, people are putting down the
Yeah.
papers. So this all comes along with because they do not feel psychological safe at their
Safe,
work.
yeah. And we spend so much, like most of our time, like in the waking hours of our time, working in our work environment. So it's very important that the major chunk that we are putting in the work, the we feel safe mentally.
Very true,
So
very true.
as a
So
manager, what can strategies can they adopt to ensure a psychologically safe environment?
okay, so as a manager, uh, we have to first not to confuse the safety is a lack of opportunity. Many people imagine that there must be a trade-off between psychological safety and accountability. Let's
Mhm.
define the accountability as holding people to the high standard. You know that you're setting certain ambitious goal and expecting people to do their very best. But many
Mhm.
people think that you can't have that because and psychological safety together. uh, Nothing could be more further truth. In fact, leader's job is to both. Leader is more responsible for creating those kind of environment where people can learn,
Mhm.
and of psychological safety where people can learn, innovate, collaborate, and do great work. They're also responsible, as you know, the inspiring and setting a high standard for accountability. So
Okay.
if you don't do either, there are one of those jobs. Well, the people got is empathy zone.
Okay.
Empathy zone somewhere, they feel like quit and they stay away. Okay,
Mhm.
they're still coming for the work every day,
Okay.
but it's all about that.
Mhm.
They will not speak up. Uh, they are not working very hard, and they sure it's just a 9 to 5 job for me.
Yeah.
Kind of, I'm going, I'm coming, and how do I build a psychological? They You did lack bit of accountability, and that called comfort zone.
Comforting. Mm-hmm.
Very well quotes are there. There is a comfort zone, nothing grows there. So
Growth,
that is
exactly.
a
Yeah.
bit of challenge.
So when
And
psychological, sorry,
please continue.
Psychological safety is not there. Do you think it fosters a toxic work environment? Because since if something is going wrong, the employees don't feel safe to report it to the authority. So do you think it fosters a toxic environment?
Very true. It is high level of possibility of toxic environment because I'm so afraid to speak up.
Yeah.
So even if I'm suffering,
Hmm.
uh, it is the same way. I'm not going to report to anyone.
Report. Yeah.
I'm not going to. No, it's not only about idea. It's about now concern about my real safety. I'm not even report as abuse because I know no more. I'm not going to be hurt.
Yeah. Hmm.
So that also, sometimes, and we have some comments. Would you like to read?
Okay, so someone is saying in some cases people on the team sometimes reject others for being different. Okay, that's an interesting comment.
Very true. Sometimes it being rejected. That's what we wanted to create an environment where everyone not being judged and
Hmm.
able to open up the ideas. And there is a job of leadership to harness those efforts where people are ready to follow.
Hmm.
What is a leader for? So I'm going to give you a couple of examples where, as the CEO of Pixar say, Ed Catmull, if we lead as leaders want other people, then you wanted to talk about their own mistakes.
Hmm.
When you want
Right.
people to come and tell you about, this is what went wrong in a project, so you start with yourself first, then
First, yeah.
expect. You have to set
Hmm.
that example. Uh,
Exactly.
Now, Ellen Fisher, who's also founder and CEO of very successful clothing line, herself says, "I am a don't knower."
Hmm.
As a CEO, whenever she leads a senior team meeting, and the opening statement is, "I don't know what you like to do, or what you see, what you think
Hmm.
about it." So it's been good that you don't know everything and asking for advice where people can actually come and open up the mind.
Hmm. So we have another comment that says people on the team deliberately act to undermine your effort.
So that is where the leader job comes, no? As a good manager or as a good
Hmm.
leader, what kind of culture you wanted to inculcate in the your company? uh, I think there is
What
one.
could be a way to handle this? If you have people on the team who are deliberately, trying to undermine your effort.
Hmm. So I think as an organization, as a leader, they have to see in this kind of problem and uh, be patient. Okay, be patient. It's over the long run. So the
Hmm.
aspect is, you have to address it, you have to give an equal opportunity. Now, is that does not mean that I'm going to ask, okay, so can you tell what is wrong? Am I on the right track? These are not questions what we are looking for.
Hmm.
So we have, when we say really open-ended questions, that means that ask the exact what do you feel, and there are no wrong and right. See, when
Right.
a new idea has been shared,
Hmm.
so it's gonna be risk and uncertainty definitely gonna be involved. So how much
Hmm.
your company or reader are willing to take that risk and
Hmm.
openness, it's totally
Yeah.
depend on that. And there
Hmm.
are certain kind of mistakes, uh, I like to talk about certain mistakes which actually celebrate the risk taker. There is a
Okay.
term. Okay. We don't love the reality of risk and that end of failure, because we always remember, all we remember is success stories,
Stories, yeah.
but no one talk about failures.
Really.
Yeah, but how do we do that is, some problems, these are the so many problems leaders, we have a leader facing today. I think we have one more comment.
Yeah. It says, how could we make one feel empowered and put his ideas and take stands?
Okay. Uh, so let me first talk about failures and then I'm going to answer. Okay.
Yeah.
There are three types of failures. One is predictable failure, which is, there are very problematic, which chose kind of happening. It's supposed to happen. There was a clear process written and set of steps and guideline we're supposed to follow. We didn't follow that. And
Hmm.
whatever reason is, it became a failure and it's not worthy of celebration. But there are second kind of failure, which is a complex failure, where we are reasonably familiar with territory and what we are doing wrong or right, but
Mm-hmm.
unique factor come up in the kind of produce a problem and produce a accident, if you will. But if we do not even celebrate that,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
there are third kind of failure which is genuinely worth celebration, and which I call them intelligent failure.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wish that organization accept this methodology. Listen to this very fully. So when I talk about intelligent failure, is there are result of thoughtful risk, a very thoughtful calculation being happened, everything happened, and there might be a result of some new values that it's really you want it to be work, but it doesn't. Now,
Mm-hmm.
intelligent failure happens when we are exploring something new, something really out of box, and alas, everything was calculated, but it went wrong.
No. Yeah.
So, one of the very favorite example of intelligent failure, as a there was a one scientific officer of the pharmaceutical category, Eli Lee, okay,
Okay.
held the failure parties.
That's amazing.
Really imagine that actually held the failure parties
Mm-hmm.
to to give the process driven for her scientific experiences
Mm-hmm.
and or clinical tests. Nothing less ended failure, but there was thoughtfully designed
Design.
hypothesis driven people are work towards it, and there was genuine hope of people that
Yeah.
would work. And
Mm-hmm.
out of that product a new drug are valuable, but for minor reason it went wrong. So then those kind of failures, it definitely
Mm-hmm.
worthy to celebrate. Then people are ready to take a risk in your organization.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
just hope this is something that is adapted by the companies.
I think this will definitely help someone to feel empowered and put his
Empower.
idea and take a stand.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it
Mm-hmm.
the being question being asked? So when you started celebrating the failures of your employee, I think they feel encouraged. So I give you
Mm-hmm.
one more example. Yesterday was one of the community meetings, and community meetings are voluntary meetings, so you're not
Okay.
getting paid for it. So everyone is ready to free, they share ideas and everything. But suddenly, there was too much hustle on the leader, and
Okay.
the leader said, the person who's running the community meeting, the leader said that, you know what, everyone has a problem, even I have a problem, and you don't you have to take the ownership. You don't have to come and tell me I'm there for you, but still you have to do it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment the leader said that, it shows the leadership frustration, and the entire community went quiet. There was drain
Mm-hmm.
out of energy. Now someone wanted to put new ideas, uh, they have to think 100 times. So what kind of message you wanted to
Message I
convey? Yeah,
mm-hmm.
that also matters a lot. We have few more questions, Priya.
Yeah. First, we'll take how could we make one feel empowered and put his ideas and take stands?
I think I've already answered that. That we have to really experiment something new, and it's okay to kind of take a risk. Tell them
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to fail. It's okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
How you suggest the freshers to tackle the concerns they face regarding the difference between old and new?
Okay, how to suggest the freshers to tackle the concern they're
Some
facing?
people, experience because of experience, they feel they are more. How do I explain? Just because they are new, they feel afraid to put their ideas. So I think that's what the comment is about.
Okay, so until and unless you don't speak up, and as a job, see, it's absolutely fine as a fresher also. No? You being, if you're so afraid, ki, I being not being fired. If I open my mouth,
Mm-hmm.
if I full in a trap,
Mm-hmm.
I'm already on a probation, and if I say something, probably I'll get fired. So
Yeah.
this is very natural, to
Mm-hmm.
have that kind of fear. So where this become as a manager or the leadership comes role, where they put something in a daily practice.
Mm-hmm.
The person is saying yes, so we got the question right.
Yeah.
Thank you. So somewhere you it's a role of a person, and as a freshers also, there are two things manager accept from you, either reasons or result. So sometimes you have to give results, and that
Yeah.
when the company keep on hamping, or come out of think out of box and come out of very innovative thinking, until unless you don't put your ideas, maybe however silly it is, but it is still
Yeah.
an idea and you given your 100% for it. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
all worth it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you have to open up and give out your ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
And
some
sometimes I think it's not just about being a fresher or experienced, it's about a different perspective. A experienced person might not have that perspective that a fresher can give.
absolutely, and it's some, and as an experience, sometimes you feel it's like purana chawal. What is ever
Mm-hmm.
happening, let it happen. Now, how does it affect my job?
Yeah.
And my idea is not being welcome until unless
Mm.
you don't give it. How does it matter? And is I'm telling
Yeah.
this culture has to be inculcated by the organizations.
Yeah.
So I would suggest that this is a small daily practice, okay, which you
Okay.
can actually use in daily life to create a culture. Emphasize the complexity. Let people know that you're okay to make a mistakes.
Okay.
Uh, I will take this question. Give me some time, okay? It's okay to have something go wrong. It's okay to counter problems, and
Mm-hmm.
that's okay of work of nature, and it's okay to do it. Yeah, no one is perfect, and we're gonna accept the imperfection, and we are creating this rational for speaking up.
Okay.
The second thing leader will do is create a psychological safety, is invitation of participation proactively,
Mm-hmm.
asking a good questions throughout designing, throughout structure, like a focus group or other space, opportunity for people to really share what
Mm-hmm.
they are thinking, what is their routine, how they are going effectively. The third category actions leader can do is, let's have people really engage and speak up. They have been
Mm-hmm.
accepted more psychological safe environment.
Yeah.
If your first time someone come up to you with the bad news, like
Hmm.
yesterday one of the community, how do you react? It really
Yeah.
matters. If you react with
Matters.
a
Yeah.
rejection and you blast it out, person will not come back to you. They
Come
become
back to you.
unapproachable.
Hmm.
I don't want to approach the person because I know that
Hmm.
I expect kind of same reactions. So somewhere, what how do you react? You have to be chosen by you.
Mm-hmm.
Your response is very very crucial, and it has to go in a productive way.
Hmm.
So when we are talking about not much of technicality, but it's all more on the behavior tactics, how to
Yeah.
motivate people, how to express the passion about the work, by
Mm-hmm.
inviting them, by moving them, put forward. So I think these are the ways, some other ways we can definitely work on, and there are few more questions.
Yeah. There is reality in every company where there is office politics, which can't be seen, but it exists. So, what's your take on that?
So office politics is going to be everywhere, right?
Everywhere.
What are the office politics? There's like politics from school. It starts from school nowadays. So
So,
politics will be everywhere. But if you keep on earning, it's up to you.
hmm.
So you somewhere you have to face it very tactfully. And this is where the manager's job there, they should encourage, if and you make sure that
Mm-hmm.
uh, you stand for them as a team leader. Also, you should stand for your team.
Same. Yeah.
Priya, there is one few more
Yeah.
questions.
This is a question from one of my team member. Please answer if relevant. I have a habit of checking many things two to three times. For example, while locking the door, I check it for two to three times whether it is locked or not. Even with mail too, I keep on checking whether it is sent or not. So, is it normal or anything which I can do for that?
So mail two or three times checking is good, but locking the door, that means you are making sure. So is there any problem you have faced in previous experiences?
Hmm.
So this might leads to some kind of trauma you would have faced particular situation where you have a habit of this double checking which comes
Yeah.
in a picture. So whoever is this person is ask them to connect on PM and we are able to help them better for this.
Yeah.
I hope we are done with all the kind of questions.
Yes.
So we have come up with a very unique workshop to create a psychological safety
Mm-hmm.
at your workplace.
Not really. I would request you to please connect with us on the LinkedIn page. We'll surely address your query.
Queries,
Thank you.
yes, please. There are. Okay, I will take these questions later. Trust me on. You put me on the LinkedIn page below that, and we'll make sure we answer you
Yeah.
these questions.
Yeah.
So now the time is really constrained. So we have come up with a unique workshop where you can create a psychological safety for your organization. For more details, you can put the comments, asking for details for the comments, and my team will connect to you. And you can also leave us a feedback. How do you find this live? If you require more information or more topics for me to
Yeah.
cover, we are there for you.
Yeah. So thank you everyone who joined and asked your queries. We hope we were able to answer your questions. And if you still have any more questions, please feel free to drop us a comment.
I think thank you so much, Priya. Thank you for connecting.
We just have one more comment. You guys are doing a great job. This is needed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
This
much.
is definitely the need of the hour. So thank you, Jyoti ma'am, for bringing us this topic to us.
Yeah. Thank you, Priya. And just one sec.